Thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2. It's a great day to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Let's jump right in. So, George Pickens, he decides to abandon the kids at his youth football camp after he assured them all and their parents that he would be there. George Pickens is a piece of shit human being. I have to say, and that's the only way I can say it. Him and his father are shit human beings. I don't know what to tell you. I am so glad that he doesn't wear the black and gold anymore. I'm so glad that the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have to deal with him. And I'm not, am I surprised? Absolutely not. I'm not surprised. You know what pisses me off more about this whole situation is the media and his teammates that constantly defend him. And even Dak Prescott, he's misunderstood. Russell Wilson, he's misunderstood. He's not misunderstood. He's a total piece of shit. And I'm sorry I'm talking that way because I try not to curse when I make videos, but there's literally no other way that I could say it. And even the local Pittsburgh media, George is a good kid. He's not, first of all, he's not a kid. Second of all, he's not a good person, and neither is his father. And I'm glad that he's removed from the black and gold. He didn't deserve to wear the uniform. Coach Tomlin absolutely made the right decision by getting rid of him. I hate George Pickens. You know why I hate him? I don't hate him because of his color or his political beliefs. I hate the type of human being he is. You'll say hate is a strong word. Well, that's how I feel about him. I cannot stand him or his dad. Can't stand both of them. Former Steelers wide receiver George Pickens was traded to the Dallas Cowboys at the beginning of May, but he had one more commitment to the Pittsburgh area to take care of. He had a sold out youth camp through True Edge Sports at Highmark Stadium, but decided against returning to Pittsburgh for it. Fortunately, the event will be salvaged to a certain extent by Pat Fryermuth, who stepped up to fill in for Pickens, according to Mark Capoli on X. I wouldn't expect anything else from the selfish, narcissist, piece of garbage, piece of you know what human being, George Pickens. Am I surprised? Am I the slightest bit surprised? Absolutely not. But I have a problem with the media in Pittsburgh, and I have a problem with the players. First, the media in Pittsburgh. You don't have to be confrontational with him. A lot of you are not like that. I understand that. Whatever. People in general are not like that. But when you constantly make excuses that he's a good kid and you pat him on the back because he's not out robbing a 7-Eleven, we're not talking about criminality. We're talking about as a teammate. And as a teammate, George Pickens is absolutely the worst teammate and human being on the planet. And for 3 years, we heard nothing but excuses from the Pittsburgh media. Nobody said you had to jump in a boxing ring with the guy. Make excuses for him is absolutely ridiculous. Now, his teammates, race and politics comes into everything, unfortunately, these days. And I believe that the majority of his teammates that were defending him were defending him for one reason, and it had nothing to do with right and wrong. It had to do with color and ethnicity. And I don't agree with that at all. If TJ Watt was acting like George Pickens, I'd be saying the same exact things about TJ Watt. I'd be calling him every type of name in the book. So I don't want to hear that I'm being racist because I'm not. But George Pickens is a piece of shit human being. And this just puts the cherry on the ice cream to prove that point. So his jersey was a big seller in Pittsburgh. You don't think that there's kids in Pittsburgh that couldn't wait to meet George Pickens? I'm not saying they don't want to meet Pat Fryermuth. I'm not saying that. But who is more vocal on social media? Who is the media pushing more? Who are the kids more familiar with? Probably George Pickens. Again, it's no knock on Pat Fryermuth. Pat Fryermuth is a great guy. He proved it through and through. I'm sure the kids will be more than happy that a Pittsburgh Steeler player showed up no matter what. But George Pickens couldn't even put his childish ways aside to show up at a youth camp that he promised to be there for those kids. And that's why I call him a piece of shit, because that's exactly what he is. He's a spoiled millionaire, narcissist, obnoxious piece of you know what. I'm not going to say the word again because I shouldn't be cursing on my own YouTube channel. I need to be professional. But he absolutely gets under my skin in the worst type of way. And if I was covering him in the locker room, honestly, I probably would have said, you know what, George, I'm really tired of your nonsense. Let's throw on some boxing gloves and find out how tough you are. I'm sure the team would have loved seeing him get punched in his face a couple times. I guarantee it wouldn't have ended well for George Pickens because he's a delusional clown. Steelers tight end Pat Freiermuth will step in for George Pickens after Pickens backs out of his sold out youth camp commitment at Highmark Stadium, Capoli Road. Pickens initially said he would still attend after getting traded, but now decided not to. Freiermuth now steps in. What a nice gesture by Freiermuth. It wasn't his responsibility, but he stepped up, Capoli wrote. Now, this is the email sent out by True Edge Sports. True Edge Sports sent an email out to all the families who paid for their sons to go to this football camp, sons and daughters. Pickens and his representation had reassured True Edge and the families they would still follow through with the camp after being traded. But the following email was reportedly sent yesterday for a camp that was supposed to begin on June 28th. This is just one part of a 5-part email. You can view the full thing via Reddit. Let us say again, we are incredibly frustrated by George Pickens' lack of professionalism and his decision to abandon the commitment he personally confirmed after his trade. The email stated, "We've been forced to navigate the situation with zero notice." I wouldn't expect anything less from George Pickens. Saying he's going to, just like if when he went into contract negotiations because he wanted DK Metcalf's money, yeah, I'm going to behave, I'm going to do better. We all know it's a lie. I can't stand George Pickens. I guarantee he will be out of the National Football League in less than 3 years, and he will have nobody but himself and his father to blame for their shitty attitudes. It's also being reported that TJ Watt will get past 40 million per season. Palmer said Tuesday during his weekly NFL Insider Notebook via Bleacher Report. He has every right to ask for it. I've talked on here a lot about the comparisons between him and Myles Garrett. The numbers are almost identical in every aspect in terms of the superlatives and in terms of numbers, and they came in the same draft class. I mean, he has the right to try to get that. There is no doubt that Watt and his agent have every right to ask for a top of the market deal. Palmer is painting a picture of two players with nearly identical stats, but that's not entirely accurate. If you are Watt or his agent, you are pointing to Watt having 7 more interceptions, 32 more passes defended, 13 more forced fumbles, 5.5 more sacks, 10 more tackles for a loss, and 25 quarterback hits than Garrett in just 4 more games played. I don't need for anybody to tell me that TJ Watt is the best defender ever to play in the NFL. TJ Watt is the best pass rusher ever to play in the NFL. It's statistically proven. And I am fully on board with TJ Watt getting every single penny that he asked for, for 2 reasons. He deserves it, number one. And because the Pittsburgh Steelers have handled this TJ Watt's whole entire contract situation wrong. And this should teach them a lesson that they need to handle things the right way. I can't wait till TJ Watt gets more money than Myles Garrett. He absolutely deserves it. And I can't wait to see TJ Watt in the black and gold finishing his career. With that being said, thanks for tuning in to Steel City Football, the 4-1-2.